We have something to share with you today for sure, and I'm looking forward to it. Um, as you all are coming in, if you would share, comment, like, all of those wonderful things that helps us. We appreciate you all being with us on this Sunday.
Hmm.
If you're willing, let us know who is with us. We want to engage with you. We want to be able to say
Holla at
hi.
us.
Holla at you, yeah, peoples. What's up? We see you all coming in.
Yep.
Let us know who's here. While you're letting us know who's here, comment, like, share, all of those wonderful things that you can do to help us today. What's up, Lysandra?
Hey, Lysandra.
Ha ha.
After how many years?
Just about 40. Hi, Marie. Good to see you. Good afternoon. Good
Hey, Marie.
afternoon. We are glad you all are with us today. Hey, I'm going to challenge you to do something with us today to expand the reach of who this message that we're going to give you gets to. Um, would somebody try to comment and in your comment do at in somebody's name? Share it to somebody who you think would benefit from our community, from the conversations that we're having as we continue today talking more about the journey of Abram. I challenge you, just if you could identify, you got to think to do this. Who is it in my circle that would really benefit from this kind of a word, from this kind of an experience? And they may not jump on live, but they might come back and take a look at it later. And that's a good way to share this platform. I see you laughing at me because it took me, several decades to pronounce your name correctly. Um, but you know what? It wasn't too late. It wasn't. That's my word for somebody today. It may take you several decades, but it's not too late. It's not too late. I don't need everybody to type that, but I need Lysandra to type in the comments. It's not too late. It's not too late.
And that actually, I was gonna bring this up before we start talking about Abram and that whole thing that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. I'm just thinking like, wow, we are in December,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and some of you may be like, whew, I made it, or y'all might be like, when is this year gonna be over? But the fact of the matter is, we are here,
We're here.
and I just think that's really fascinating when I think about. I mean, it's kind of like you almost blink um, after it's January, and you're halfway through the year, and then you blink again, and we're in December.
Yep.
So
Yep. But we're here.
we are here.
And every day that we're breathing is another opportunity
Hmm.
for a better day, another opportunity for an actualized purpose, another opportunity for obedience this time. Maybe last
Hmm.
time we didn't get it, but we can obey this time. And so we're excited about it. I see you all sharing it to some specific people. Thank you so much for taking me up on that. That is awesome. That is
Yeah, that's
awesome.
like it makes me think of phone a friend, but
Right.
it's like the cousin to that. Tag a friend.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Mom. Hey, Mom. How
Hey,
are
Mom
you
Jones.
today? Good to see you. Glad you're with us today. It's not too late. Thank you. Thank you for typing that list. I needed that from you specifically because it makes me feel better about destroying your name for all these years. Now you have made a declaration that is really okay. It's not.
And the same thing with the idea for the month of December. It's not too late.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
It's still 2022.
See how playing can turn into for real. I'm so glad that I have my number one partner with me on this today. It's so
Let's
helpful.
see. Marie is sharing to
To
Paula.
Paula, wonderful, wonderful. Lysandra shared to Julie. Paula and Julie, we really hope that you come. I feel even real quick a blessing to just convey a blessing to you in your life today, that God is going to prosper you, that God is going to heal you, that He has seen your labor of love and He hasn't, oh my goodness, those good works that you've done. are not unnoticed, but there's a blessing in store for you today. So we just wanted to share that with you today. Hey, I also wanted to say before we get going,
Before I start this timer.
it was, I saw you before, it was about a week, maybe a little over a week ago, and I can't remember exactly how it came. You might be able to recall, but Camille like woke up with a particular region on her heart, and it was the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
And she just felt very compelled that we needed to pray for Ohio. Now she doesn't do all this stuff all the time, and so when she said it to me, it came to me with an urgency. I was like, all right, well, we're gonna pray. And a couple things. One, I noticed this week a couple new followers that I don't know, that we don't know, from the state of Ohio,
Oh, that's
have joined on
interesting.
to Weekly Wisdom.
I didn't know
And
that.
so, welcome if you're from the state of Ohio. Maybe it was kind of your personal thing that we needed to
I don't
reach out
know.
to you. It
And
could be.
pull it in. Yeah.
So hopefully you're here, you're seeing this, or you're watching it on the rebroadcast. Additionally, we begin to pray and to call out the names of everyone in Ohio that we know. We have
Yeah.
family and friends in
Yeah.
Ohio, and we begin to pray for them.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing I wanted to share, and then we'll get right to this. Um, the other day, I was, I was like, man, the urgency that Camille felt with that, I was like, after I watched the news, I was like, I'm so surprised we haven't heard anything about Ohio. And I immediately felt that's
That's
why
why.
you prayed, so that you would not
Mm-hmm.
hear anything about Ohio. And that was really informative to me. It's like, yes, when God puts something
Yeah.
on your heart, on
Yeah.
someone's heart, your job is not to sit back with your popcorn and wait to see what's going to happen,
Right.
but instead to go into defense mode
Yeah.
on their behalf, to go into intercessory mode and to begin to pray. And we prayed for the safety and for the things that
Dismantling
wanted
of.
to attack them to
Yeah.
not be able to work, for the strategies to be broken. And
Yeah.
it keeps on staying on me for
Mm.
the region of Ohio. And so we continue to pray for safety, for protection, for blessings, for provision, for
Yeah.
healing, for whatever it is that's needed there in that part
Yeah.
of our country. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. I
case.
guess I'll add to that too,
Yeah.
that you know, if stuff like that comes to you all and it's just kind of out of nowhere, um don't take all that stuff lightly. A lot of times it's God trying to train you for the things that he needs done in the earth. So yeah, it was really interesting that as soon as I woke up, and God deals with me a lot of times in that whole realm of, well, definitely in dreams, but also in that whole state of sleep, waking up type of thing. I get so many visions and I hear audible words from God. So
Numbers, all
yeah,
sorts of
numbers,
stuff.
all sorts of things. God's been doing a lot of new things. Newer. I can't, I've always been a dreamer, but just it's more intense in 2022 for me. But I want to say and encourage you all to indulge the Lord.
Mm.
When he gives you stuff on your heart, take it seriously, pray about it, try to see what it is he's trying to get you to do or trying to reveal to you. So yeah, when Ohio dropped on me, it was really heavy and urgent. So yep, and I told Rajel, and I think it was for like 2 or 3 days, it was really heavy on me, and we prayed consistently. But yeah, if you all would too, pray with us for the state of Ohio.
Yep. Yep. And so we know in part, we prophesy in part.
Yeah.
We don't know all the reasons, but we know that if there's a directive, we
Yeah.
talked about this a few weeks ago. When you get a directive, what you need to be is responsive. And so we hope that you all will join with us in that as well.
I'm gonna say this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't even started the timer yet.
Yeah, see, we can talk when she didn't start the timer.
I'm talking, so I forget to push the
I'm
play
playing.
button.
I'm playing.
I think a lot of times we can all be concerned about looking weird or seeming mysterious. But I am working really hard to push myself out of that mode. That is what God gave me. And so I'm not looking for anything terrible in the news for the state of Ohio, but I also know that prayer works. Prayer changes things. And if that is what is going on, praise God. But also the other side to what I'm saying to you all is if you know God is working with you on things or revealing things to you, we can't, and you're supposed to share it, we cannot be so concerned about looking weird.
Yeah.
We have to just do it.
Yep. Cool.
Say it.
I see Lysandra said felt that way this week about someone in her life, about a woman, and you did what felt God wanted you to do. That's awesome.
How we are supposed to do it. I'm so glad you did that.
Yep, that's responsiveness.
We are his hands and his feet. We are his representatives.
Yeah. All right.
And so
here we go. I want to give a little bit of a recap of where we've been the last few weeks. We've been dealing with Abram. His name at this point where we've been has not yet been changed to Abraham, but it will be. Thank you, Marie, for joining us in prayer on that, for touching and agreeing. We know that there's power in agreement. And so we dealt with the fact that God is the God of the next step. And we've been really looking at that. He doesn't always give you the full, complete, detailed blueprint for every step, roadmap for every next direction. But what he does give you is clarity many times on the next step. And so he told Abram, we know, to go to a land that he would show him. Abram started moving. As he moved, he got clarity and direction on where to continue to move to. He got there, and then famine struck. You remember that? He went to Egypt to hide, plotted, schemed, added his own little stuff to God's directive, and ended up getting evicted out of Egypt, him and his nephew Lot. And as they got evicted, the households of Lot and Abram were beginning to be at odds, and they had tension between them, conflict between them. And so they determined that they were going to split up. Abram said, if you go left, I'll go right. If you go right, I'll go left. And they split up. And that finally got Abram positioned and postured to be in the place that he was supposed to be, because he was supposed to leave his family to go on this particular journey. And so when they split up, God started speaking again. We dealt with that and looked at Genesis chapter 13 that dealt with repositioning. Lot leaves, God speaks. And then what God speaks says, yeah, I know you just told Lot that if he goes left, you go right. There's enough promise for all of us. But what I'm telling you is that everywhere you look from this hill, this mountain of Bethel that he was on, everywhere that you look is yours. Not Lot's, is yours. And
that's
so
going back to the what did he actually say part.
Right. What did he actually say? And so anyway, the place where Lot went was the place that was considered forbidden territory. He went and indulged the people who were at odds with God, and the place was attacked. Lot was captured while the place was attacked. And then last week we dealt with Genesis chapter 14 that began to deal with recovery. Abram mobilized 318 trained, highly skilled fighting soldiers, men from his household, to go get Lot and the stuff. And they went and they recovered everything. He pursued and recovered all. And then at the conclusion of that, he had audience with kings. He began to be seen as a force to be reckoned with. And he would not take a reward from the king of Sodom, who was trying to say, hey, let me hook you up for what you did for me. He said, no, I can't do that, because then you'll take credit for what God deserves the glory for. And so he rejected that. And so today I want us to look at Genesis. We're moving to the next chapter, the 15th chapter, verses 1 through 6. It says, sometime later, the Lord spoke to Abram in a vision and said to him, "Do not be afraid, Abram, for I will protect you, and your reward will be great." But Abram replied, "O sovereign Lord, what good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son? Since you've given me no children, Eliezer of Damascus, a servant in my household, will inherit all my wealth. You've given me no descendants of my own, so one of my servants will be my heir." Then the Lord said to him, "No, your son," well, that right there. Then the Lord said to him, "No." And there's so many times that we're thinking and we're making we're getting in our anxiety and trying to figure things out. And the only thing that we'll hear back is, "No, that's not it."
Well, the funny thing is he has this whole scenario of what it's going to look like.
Right.
Abram does.
Right.
God's like, no.
Yeah, you just made all that up. Abram was good at that, of making up the rest of the narrative. He's like, you just made all of the conclusion of that story, you made it up. And God says, "No, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own who will be your heir." Now, mind you, he already told him a couple chapters ago that you're going to have descendants, that you're going to have a son, even in your old age. But he tells him again, "You'll have a son of your own who will be your heir." Then the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, "All right, I tried this already where I had you look over all of this land and I told you that everything that you see is yours." That didn't apparently sink in yet. So now let's do another exercise. The Lord took Abram outside and said to him, "Look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have." Not only will you have this whole land that I told you to look over the mountain, but look up. Oh my goodness, I just felt that when I said it. Not only look around, but look up. I feel it real good right now, because some of us only have the capacity and the willingness to look around. But God is saying to you today, stop looking at your circumstances. Oh my goodness, I feel this thing. Stop looking at what isn't working. Stop looking at what doesn't seem to be in alignment with what has been promised to you. Stop looking at everything that you don't have and everything that's not working. And instead, what I want you to do is look up. I'm reminded of the scripture that says, "I look to the hills from which cometh my help, for my help comes from the Lord." Look up. I'm up there. Oh my goodness. I'm working things out in other dimensions that you haven't even arrived at yet. I am at your side. I am above you. I am behind you. I got your back, your front, your sides. I have you surrounded. Oh my goodness. I have you surrounded. I don't know who I'm talking to today. God is saying to you, I have you surrounded. I have you right where I want you. Look up. And what I want you to do is to begin to do what you don't have the ability or the capacity or the cognitive strength or the fortitude to do, or the patience or the time or the resources to do. Count every star in the sky you see, if you can. And he knew that it was an assignment that he could not fail, because the promise was, I am going to give you more descendants than what you can't count. I'm going to give you more. I know you don't see it. I know you don't have it. I know it looks impossible. I know it's bleak. I know how old you are. I know how you feel incapable. I know how you feel impotent. I know how you feel like you're not enough. I know how you feel like you are less than. I know how you feel like you don't have the pedigree. I know how you feel like you don't have the right power. I know you feel like you don't have the right political affiliations. But what I need you to do is stop looking around and start looking up. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I feel that thing. The Lord said to him, verse 5, the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, "Look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have." Verse 6, and Abram believed the Lord.
That's the part.
And look at the next part. Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him righteous because of his faith. Not because of his actions, not because he never doubted, not because he questioned God again even after he had already received a word, but because at one point or another, oh my goodness, it's not too late. You may have doubted the previous time, but it's not too late. He didn't count. He didn't count him. He didn't place him and posture him in a certain position because of what he did in the past, but because at that particular moment, at that time, even though he didn't believe it before, even though he doubted, even though he had received a word, it was not too late, and it's not too late for you. I want to challenge you even today to believe this time. Believe this time. I know you've had trouble believing it before. You've questioned it. You've tried to gain cognitive mastery over it. You wanted to understand all the ins and the outs of it before you would say it out loud. Oh my goodness. You wanted to see it before you would say it. But I want you to reverse the order, because what he's going to reward you based on is your now faith. Now faith. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now faith. Now faith, not then faith, not eventually faith. Your now faith is what he's looking for. Believe it this time. I know you didn't believe it last time, and you feel like you fell short. You feel like it's too late. You feel like you missed the mark. But today is your day for now faith. Go ahead. Good. I see your knee.
My leg is going. No, I'm just seeing how this whole thing I'm feeling for December is coming into play with this message today too. Just as Rajel was saying, and as did Lysandra say, that it's not too late.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not, even if we're in December, it's not too late.
It's not too late.
You know, things can still happen. I even felt this, I want to say last week or a couple weeks ago, that even things that happened in the 11th hour are still on time.
Yeah.
Just because something happens at a later time, it doesn't mean that it wasn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not too late.
It's not too late. Woo, it does not negate. Oh my goodness. Even your past doubt does not negate your now blessings. Because there's still a chance
it can still
for you to turn your faith on.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it on. Oh my goodness. But without faith, it's impossible to turn it on, to turn your blessings on, to turn your harvest on, to please the Lord. Without faith, it's impossible. But if you can, I believe that Hebrews 11:1 verse, it's always been really interesting to me that, you know, some of us just quote from the second word of the verse where it says faith is the substance of things hoped for. But there's a word before that. It is now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's what you stand on to get to what you're hoping for. Faith is the evidence. It's what allows you to see what cannot be seen. It is the pedestal. It's what you stand on to get to where you're going. It's, oh my goodness, it's what you stand on to get to what you're reaching for. It's like a ladder. It's like a step ladder. Faith helps you to stretch to levels that you couldn't reach at your own regular normal altitude and height. It is what you stand on to get to what you're hoping for and to where you're going. And so Abram, I found this interesting, that Abram, the father of faith, lives with a lot of doubt. I find that really interesting, but I need us all to understand that doubt and faith are first cousins.
Right.
In order to doubt, this is a work in process, so so bear with me. In order to doubt, you have to have a little faith.
Yeah.
Because if you had no faith,
what are you doubting?
It's not doubt. it's not doubt. You have to believe, have a little glimmer, like a mustard seed amount of faith in order even to have any doubt. Because if you didn't have any faith, it would be surety. Oh my goodness. And doubt is not that you're sure something's not going to happen. It's that you're wondering if something is going to happen, or you think there's a possibility that it might or that it might not. Weaved in that doubt is a little tiny bit of faith. And I believe for somebody today, you have convinced yourself that you are faithless. But yet, there's still a little glimmer of hope. Oh my goodness, that stirs on the inside. There's still a little piece of you. You might not want to declare it because you're nervous about declaring it, but there's a little glimmer in you that says, I do believe that it's possible that something else could happen. I do believe that better is in my forecast. But you're nervous about, you hesitate to say it. Abram, with all these affirmations and prophetic words and all of this stuff, God speaking directly to him, all of this stuff, God revealing his face to him, all of this stuff. And yet Abram still was like, you know what? You keep talking to me, God. Now he getting mad at God, like directly talking to God. You keep talking to me about all these blessings, but your blessings don't mean anything for me because I don't have a legacy. Oh my goodness. What did he say? He said in verse 2,
I don't even
Oh,
have
sovereign Lord. Yeah, go ahead.
No, just I don't even have a son. So
Yeah.
how is this supposed to happen?
But look at the attitude. He reminds me of me. He starts out, he says, Oh, sovereign Lord. What good? Look at that. What good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son?
You hyping me up. You know, like, am I supposed to be happy about all this
Right.
stuff you're saying?
Right. What good is it going to do me? What good is all this land that I'm looking at that you said you're going to give to me if once I depart from this earth, it's not even going to be legacy. They're not going to even remember that I had anything to do with it because it's not going to stay in my bloodline because I have no bloodline that comes after me. He said, what good are all your blessings if I don't even have a son? And listen, this is me. It's probably you. I don't want to declare it on your behalf because maybe you're better than me on this, and that's fine. But we tend to focus more on what we don't have than what we do. He said, you blessing me. You're sovereign. First of all, let me give you some praise. Oh, sovereign God. Let me declare that I recognize that you do have all power. Mm-hmm. That's what sovereign means. I know that you reign over all. I recognize that. So I'm going to start with praise. And I'm going to acknowledge you blessing me like crazy right now. Like, I cannot overlook the fact that you have brought me into a promised land, that you've allowed me. I just got back from pursuing and conquering armies of nations with my 318 men, and we were successful and we accomplished the purpose for which we went forth. You're blessing me. I can't doubt that. Like, if I have the perspective, my perspective is right in seeing, I know I'm blessed. You have me positioned here overlooking a promised land that's occupied, and you let me know that it's coming to me. I see how you're blessing me. But he doesn't stay focused on that. He says, but I don't have a son. And sometimes we magnify what we don't have, and in the process take for granted or overlook what we do have. What does he have? Promise. What does he have? Blessings. What does he have? Another opportunity.
It's a matter of where you put the spotlight. You know, we can direct the spotlight wherever we want it to go. Are we going to highlight the doubt, or are we going to highlight the promise that we have? Are we going to highlight our faith?
Yeah. What are we going to choose to amplify? What's wrong with us or what's right with us? What are we going to choose to spotlight? The fact that we have some needs, or the fact that he has supplied so many of them? What are we going to highlight? Our requests and wants, or our blessings and opportunities?
That's our choice.
It's a choice. And it's a perspective.
What we highlight.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, if we were to go further, it's kind of I don't want to say easy or simple choice. I don't have the right word. But I'll say this. When we choose to highlight everything that's wrong with us, that has a very negative impact on our psyche, on our emotions,
our decision making,
and therein on our future.
Right.
But if we choose a perspective of highlighting what's right with us, of highlighting what we do have, of highlighting the opportunity that sits before us right now, what that does for our psyche is it gets us excited. It gives us hope. It gives us energy. It gives us drive. It increases our will. It increases our fortitude. It makes us able to endure some stuff that we do have to go through that isn't so pleasant, because we know when I get to the other side of this, oh God, somebody, I wish you would type it, when I get to the other side of this challenge, blessings are all around. When I get to the other side of this season, the promise is on its way. Oh my goodness. When I get to the other side of this, just put ... When I get to the other side of this, ...
That's good. I like the example here for us that Abram shows us where, okay, so he has these frustrations, he has these doubts, but what I also see is that he is in the place where God told him to be. And when he has these frustrations, he took them to the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like, what's up? Like, help me.
Yeah.
Like, so he, he wanted to understand. He wanted to see how the dots are supposed to connect. He took his concern to the right person. And I think that's a really good example for all of us when we are, maybe running low in our faith tank, or, things are frustrating, we're feeling bad, whatever. We need to take that to the Lord.
Yeah.
Ask him. So, if you think about it, sometimes, are we really talking to him? Are we really asking him about our situation and circumstance during those times? Are we taking it to the Lord in prayer?
Right. A lot of times, I think we just get frustrated.
Yeah. And we start maneuvering. We start making decisions. We start adjusting things when what it required was some more understanding.
And he can handle our questions.
Right.
He was like, okay, yep, give me it. Like he did with Abraham. He's like, all right, give me the whole thing. Give me the whole creative fiction story that you wrote. Give me the whole right. outcome that you are saying is about to happen, as if you know. Go ahead. Give it all. All right, good. Now, no.
Now, that would be comforting to me. But then, as people, we want to know more, right? What you mean, no?
Right. Well, this man had come up with who of his servants was going to be the descendant. He didn't even say, I'm going to leave it to my nephew Lot and them.
Right.
He's like, nope, it's going to be this particular person. It's going to be what is it? Eliezer of Damascus, a servant of mine. He's gonna inherit all of this wealth.
He's getting himself stressed out because of the scenario he created in his mind for how this was supposed to be descendants coming from this.
Yeah, it's anxiety. It's worrying about what may or may not even happen. Like he. And I don't know who we're talking to today, but I believe somebody's a creative story ender in
somebody
here.
Is crafting. Y'all up in here knitting and crocheting the whole scenario.
I can hear it. This is never going to work. It's those kinds of proclamations that we make that we got to be careful of. What you mean never? And what do you mean work? We don't even know what it means for something to work 9 times out of 10. This is never going to work. I'm never going to be in a better spot than this. I'm never going to be in a good relationship. And we are this is faith.
Mm-hmm.
We are speaking faith into negative things that don't even have to be, that aren't even what God said.
Yeah.
He created the whole story. He said he was really going down a dark path, but he's so human. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Sovereign Lord, what good are all these blessings when I don't even have a son? Since you've given me no children, Eliezer of Damascus, a servant in my household, will inherit all my wealth. You've given me no descendants of my own.
Like, repeat.
Yeah. You don't hear me? Because God doesn't respond to our foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
He's letting them get it all out. So the silence makes us start just saying the same things that don't make any sense all over again. Said, since you've given me no children, and then he said, you've given me no descendants of my own. So one of my servants.
So the only thing that could possibly be the case.
Yeah, the only thing I know, one of my servants will be my heir. God let him get through his complete sentence, period, end quote. Then the Lord said to him, no. And I'm here to tell somebody today, that whole narrative that you've made up about your future, no. That whole negative talk that you've been convincing yourself is the only possible outcome of the scenario that you face right now, no. I wish somebody would just type no. I know that's a simple thing, but you gotta, and you're saying it to yourself. Mm-hmm. You're saying it to the creative siphoning of negativity in your mind that produces an outcome and with finality for which you have no evidence of. No. I don't think I'll be successful. No. I don't think I'll ever have a good relationship. No. Wrong. There's a show Caden watches on TV. What does that dude say when?
Wrong.
Says it all aggressively. Sometimes I bet that's how God feels like saying it, but he's committed to this still small voice thing. But I know sometimes we start creating these narratives, he probably wants to just butt in and say, wrong. Wrong. And so I hope this encourages you today. For one, we're human. This is what we do. The nature of creating negative narratives as if they're fact, it's not new to you. It's not new to me. But it's not accurate. It's not accurate. It's not accurate.
I want to point out, too, that in Genesis 15, let's see, is this 15 and 1 right here?
Yep.
I'm just looking at our notes. So I'm not clear. Okay. 15 and 1, where it starts off saying, sometime later. Sometime later, the Lord spoke to Abram in a vision.
Wow.
So this goes back to how it parallels with life here on earth. God will give you a word. You'll feel really strong about it. You will make movements toward it. And we've shown you how all through the scripture leading up to chapter 15, how Abram would do something that the Lord told him to do, and then he would hear nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's been a cycle throughout this thing. So here we are again, sometime later. So how long has this frustration been brewing for Abram? And think about, with ourselves too. When we don't hear something, when we're not sure if this thing is going to work out, or if we're not sure that we're going to accomplish a certain thing, when you don't hear from the Lord for a while, you start doubting.
And you start making it up.
Right. So here is Abram. Sometime later, the Lord speaks to him.
Wow.
And so it helps us to see how we have to hold on to what God said, because we don't know when he's going to speak again. But he has spoken. He has spoken, But because we don't know when he's going to speak again, that's why the holding on to the God said is so important, because that's the thing that continues to fuel our faith.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Sometime later. See, I didn't catch that. That's a good revelation. Because, and think about what happened in the last chapters, what we dealt with last week. He just got off of this great victory. Mm-hmm. He was like on a spiritual high. He's like, all right, we got momentum now. And I can imagine, I know how it works. I can imagine he's like, oh, this is how God is about to do it. And that's where we get ourselves caught up. Look, I just had a conversation with Kings. Kings are trying to give me stuff.
Oh,
God already told me.
It's about to be on.
It's on. It's on and popping. It's on and popping right now. God told me to put my tent here and overlook this land. Other nations are coming in and they are whooping the inhabitants of this land. I know it's my time. It's coming. It's coming Tuesday. See, that's how we start getting specific. It's coming on Tuesday.
And this happened here.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure on Tuesday it's about to break.
And then comes the letdown.
And Tuesday comes, it's like it didn't break. God, silence.
And he's not speaking.
Silence. And then Wednesday, it's like it didn't happen on Tuesday. Now I'm a little bit embarrassed. First of all, I declared to all my 318 warriors that it was coming on Tuesday, but I guess that wasn't God. God didn't say when.
Yeah.
And when we get nervous, like you said, it's been a while now. God still hasn't spoken when we get to this text. Sometime later, like it's been silent. I just had a victory. I thought this was the spot for momentum to take over.
And surely he would speak now. Surely he would do something. Surely he would say something.
And Abram probably like, look, I just denied gifts from the king of Salem and Sodom and Gomorrah. I just told them I don't even want your stuff. I just tied to Melchizedek. I just got done building. I built so many altars around this place.
He's been functioning in high level faith.
Yep. And when you function in high level faith, you're sure. Faith makes you sure that it's always right around the corner. Yeah. But God says sometimes you got to wait.
I'm going to holler at you sometime later. When was that? That's what I want to know. How long was that?
Yeah. We ought to look that up. Somebody might know. But my goodness, when God doesn't speak when you're expecting him to, and you're stuck waiting, that's where we start creating these false narratives.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
But I'm going to say again, Abram did the right thing. He spoke to the Lord about it.
Yep. So the last verse I want to look at is verse 6. It says, and Abram, finally, after all this process, and Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. In spite of his impatience, because of his faith. In spite of his doubt, because of his faith. In spite of his tendency to try to create a whole alternative ending to the story, because of his faith. Because at some point or another he said, all right, I believe you. And so today, my challenge to you is to start from where you are right now and to tell God, all right, I believe you. I believe you.
And I want to look at look at what believing the Lord did for Abram. He was labeled as righteous. Isn't that what we want? We want to be righteous in the eyes of the Lord. So believing can do so much for us.
Faith is a status changer.
That's good.
He was counted as righteous, not because of his actions, because he finally said, all right, I believe you now.
Yep.
That's good. That's good. All right, I'm going to look at these last comments, see if we miss anything we need to address. I appreciate you all are talking to us. Now, Faith, when I get to the other side of this. Hey, Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
Blessings are all around me. Yes.
She said stitching away.
Uh-oh, I lost it.
That must have been when we were talking about how people craft scenarios.
Stitching away, Lord.
I said knitting.
Right. Cross stitching,
right.
Crocheting. Just we fabricate. We fabricate things. No, I love seeing
Best
these no's.
no I've ever heard.
Sometime later. I believe, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. That takes us from faith to faith. Believing again. Believing this time. Faith to faith. Glory to glory. Strength to strength. We're ushering in. He's getting closer and closer to the fulfillment of his promise and the birth of his legacy. We're going to keep looking at Abram a little while longer here. I feel like we're on the right track with this. So thank you all so much for your participation. Any parting words?
I want to say that we can see here that it's not just us. It's Abram too. It takes a minute.
Yeah. It's a process. So yeah, be encouraged. Believe from right now.
Yeah.
That's all we can't control the fact that we didn't believe yesterday.
Yeah.
But we can believe from right now. I hope you all have a phenomenal week. Love y'all. Peace.
See ya.